So some of the myths about admissions, well, every year everyone asks us, what box should we check, right? So that's actually one of the first things that we want to talk about. Identity is really not all defining at all. It's more like personal qualities, tightly managing the admissions application, and then also really achieving. And so doing more of the right things can be really, really helpful. But it goes beyond identity. Competing in diverse areas can be helpful. So being not just, maybe you're in one pool, but in terms of your background, but you can also diversify all of the things that you're doing. So you could consider some of these areas that the school would look at. Like, are you showing a long-term interest in the university that you want to go to? The main thing is that you should have a very good reason for wanting to go to the university. Like if you're doing research on polluted water and the city that you want to go to the school in has a really polluted waterway, you want to make that link in the application, right? If there's a professor that you've been working with at a university and that's the university you want to go to, you want to talk about that in your essay. I met a boy this past year who he'd been working and taking classes at UPenn and had been taking all of these like writing courses and knew all of these writing professors at UPenn and never mentioned it in his application. And so that was one of the things that we helped him with. We said, well, if you have all of these links to the university, you want to make sure that they show up in your application. Okay, extracurricular diversity and achievement. Can you take a seat in many different groups? Are you a hiker? Or do you play the viola? Are you an athlete? So someone who has a lot of different things going on that align with what the school's interests are, they can actually have a more competitive position in the admissions process than, let's say, someone who just is like one note doing only one thing. If you're a student alone, it's not enough for selective schools. We all know that. But if you're a student and only doing robotics, that presents a little bit of a challenge in terms of schools that might not only prioritize robotics, right? You want to do a little bit more, diversify your portfolio. And personal qualities, you should ask, are you well-liked, respected, confident, a bit of a leader for selective schools? And then that'll also show up in school support. Are your recommendations going to be standard or excellent? Does your school choose you for key leadership opportunities? And that becomes very, very defining in the process. So if you have all of these things going on, you can also stand out